Alright guys, it's me, Russell, back with EP2, and here we are. It is December 31st, and I thought I would end the year off with another one of my Kijiji builds. So in the back there, I'm not quite sure how well you can see it. There we go. In the back there, we've got a computer I just picked up from Kijiji. I found that actually last night, and I was super happy about it. It's got a Q6600 with an aftermarket cooler on it. It's very similar to a 212 Evo. I haven't actually taken it apart to find out yet, but I will. It's got a Radeon HD 4850, which is a little old, so I'm going to replace that. 500 watt power supply, which is the Antec. It's an 80 plus bronze. It's an Antec case and a network NIC, which is pretty cool. It's an additional, whatever. It's only got a 250 gig hard drive, but not bad for a computer of that size. Did I say it was Q6600? I think so. I can't remember. So, anyways, regardless, I'm going to take this bad boy home. It still needs a little bit of cleaning. The guy did a little bit of the cleaning for me, but I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to replace it with my Radeon HD 7870 that I got back in Kingston about a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to replace that, the 4850 with my 7870 that I've got kicking around, install Windows, do some benchmarks, and away we go. Here's the system. I just took the side panel off. That was it. So a couple of things I really have a problem with is one is the cable management. It's pretty poor. Now the back panel is actually riveted on. You can kind of see there, and down there. They're actually riveted, so I won't be able to take the back panel off to move anything behind the motherboard tray, because there is nothing behind the motherboard tray. I also don't like the way the heatsink is mounted. I would rotate it 90 degrees to have more natural airflow. So I'm gonna rotate that and then try and clean up the cables. And this is a 4850, and I'm going to be swapping that out with my Gigabyte edition 7870. I'll show you guys that in just a few minutes. And yeah, and that's the hard drive. Again, only 250 gigs, but it should do. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna tear it apart, and I don't have my tripod here with me. I forgot to bring that home. So I'll just keep you updated as things go on. All right, so this is the 4850. That's probably gonna, yep, that's gonna come off. So there we go. That's the heatsink, by the way. I just vacuumed it all out. I'm trying to stay with the light here. So that's with the heatsink gone and the graphics card gone. The 4850. It's actually got an aftermarket cooler. These do run pretty hot, but it's a massive cooler with not super high fin density or anything, and it's a super old card. So I don't foresee myself reusing it, because it's just, I don't even know. Like, I might use it as like a passive cooling something or other. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But yeah, so that's that. Haven't quite started the cable management yet. I sort of just started disconnecting things, so I'm going to try and reroute things as best I can. Yeah, away we go. Alright, so hold on, I have the flashlight in there because I want to look at the case in a minute. But this is the HD 7870. It is the Windforce edition. It's got a mean cooler on it. It extends about an inch past the PCB. You can kind of see there. So yeah, it's got, let's see if it'll focus. It's got HDMI, DVI, and 2 mini display ports, which is an interesting combination. So yeah, so back to inside the case. There we go. Alright, so you can see the SATA ports. There's 6 of them. There's 4 red ones and 2 black ones. The black ones are SATA 2, the red ones are SATA 3, or 3 gigabit per second and 6 gigabit per second respectively. Now, you'll see in just a second, I'm going to cut to when the graphics card is in. Now, just remember where those SATA ports are placed, okay? So just remember. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So now do you see the SATA ports? Yeah, the first 4 are covered up. So I don't think that this case, I don't even know what it is, an Antec something, was meant for a foot-long graphics card. But you know what? It's gonna stay that way. Oh, look, some of the fins are bent. Whoopsies. So yeah, by the way, the motherboard is a P5KE from ASUS, and the chip is a Q6600. The thermal paste is all done in the messed up. Another thing I want to point out is that when I opened the case, they actually had only 4 pins powering the 8-pin connector up here, with 4 blocked off. Now, they had the right 4, which is the correct way, just so everyone knows. But seeing as I intend to overclock the CPU a little bit because of the beefy cooler, I'm going to give it a little bit more power to keep it more stable. So there's 8 gigs of RAM. It's a nice ADATA memory, or from Memory Express or whatever. I'm not sure what speed this is. It's DDR2, but yeah, there we go. We also have a wireless card in there. I didn't know this motherboard came with a wireless card, but that's a wireless card right here in the middle there. And again, a network NIC. So it's still super dusty. I don't have a compressed air canister here, but whatever. All right, so there we go. That's system. Cable management, almost done. You can see. There we go, that's focused. So I've just plugged in the 24 pin. I have a Molex over here for my fan, which is, oh yeah, the fan has a speed controller, which like I'm gonna try and put somewhere for ease of use or something like that. That'll be easy, right? I don't know, something like that. Yeah, and a 500 watt Antec power supply. So there we go. Mounting the cooler, step 2. All right, and there we have it. It is pretty much finished. So I tried to tighten as much as I could up into like a little ball up here. A couple of things sort of got loose, like that's a, I don't know, a fan connector or a floppy. And then I sort of made a makeshift tie-down point for the 24 pin and the 2 6 pins going to the 9870. And then the SATA power, the SATA cable going into the motherboard. And then again, I rotated this cooler. It's actually pretty beefy. I don't know what it is. I couldn't see it. Thermalright. All right, it's a Thermalright. 6 massive heat pipes. I think they're 5 mil, 8 mil, something like that. This fan is pushing through this way. This fan is adjustable, and it had a fan controller that I actually hot glued to the back of it, so you can, if it'll focus, there we go. So you can adjust it from the outside of the case without having to take the panel off. So I thought that would have been a neat addition. So yeah, so now I'm just going to close it up and boot it up and see if it actually works. This is where I'm at right now. So it was late last night. This is now January 1st. This is the second day that I've had the machine for. This is a 4850, the one that came with the actual machine, and then my 7870 that I'm going to toss in there afterwards. The machine almost just refused to post, sort of at all. I got it to beep at me a couple of times, so I know the CPU is working. Tried all the RAM slots. Nothing worked. This didn't even work. But I did witness the machine working. So, like, I was super confused last night as to what was going on. So I did a bunch of reading, and some people just sort of almost gave up trying to solve the problem because it's common with this motherboard almost. This is the P5K-E. So I went and picked up today this one here. It's a P5Q Deluxe from ASUS. I've used this one actually a couple of times doing this types of build. I didn't vlog it or anything like that, but this came right out of somebody's system like yesterday. He just upgraded after a Boxing Day sale. So I'm going to toss this one in there, and then hopefully it works now. I really hope my CPU isn't dead. Okay guys, so I just went and replaced the motherboard. The graphics card actually fit nice for this time. I'm not sure what it was about the last motherboard. But anyway, so everything is sort of like wired in. I did a little bit of cable management. There's some stuff up here that I'm going to touch up with this tie. If all goes as planned. There's a big cooler, blah, blah, blah. And there's a P5Q Deluxe in there. So I'm going to flip the switch. And the power button's really weird on this one. I have to like open it and then it's right over here. It's the moment of truth. I probably wired in the power button wrong. So we're going to use the built-in power button. Come on, come on. Yes! That's a post. There we are. Look at that. She is up and running. Core 2 quad at 2.4 gigahertz. FB for biz, pop up, run to setup, load default values, F1. We're gonna go F1. Yes! This is so exciting. Alright, so I'm going to create a Windows key. While that happens, I'm going to touch up the cable management and all that kind of stuff. And then I will set the whole computer up on this monitor and then switch over to my 1080p monitor, this one here, for benchmarking. So yeah, my system's open as well. I was doing some tinkering. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess over here right now, but you know, that's okay. So we have a post. That's exciting. I'm gonna see what I can do. Nope, we're not gonna overclock yet. Not gonna happen. All right, install Windows next. I'll see you in a minute. All right, so here we are. You are about to see the final system. Now, I tried to clean up the cables as much as I could. I know it doesn't really look like it, but very limited cable management in this case. So, you know, I ended up skipping the Windows 8.1 install and just going with the stock booted Windows 7 that I was talking about earlier. And I didn't have as much time as I thought I would with this PC, so I only was able to link or to do one benchmark. But I will link more in the description below for you guys for your future reference, and for mine actually. So here it is. It's the Core 2 Quad CPU at 2.4 gigahertz, running 8 gigs of RAM, and again Windows 7 Ultimate on a P5Q motherboard. So again, I did have the opportunity to run a single run of Unigine Heaven on high settings, not quite 1080p. It's 1680 by 1050. You will see that later. I ended up just downloading it on my computer and running it off this USB stick. So this worked out actually pretty well. So I'm going to start the benchmark here, and in the opening scene, you can see, just give it a second to focus, you can see that it's running at about 50 frames per second. Now again, this isn't quite 1080p, but close enough. I am pretty, I'm a little bit disappointed I was only able to get one benchmarking run in. But regardless, these are the results. So we averaged around 56.7 frames for a total score of 1429. Min FPS 8.4, max FPS 118.7. Now 1080p, you can expect this FPS to go down to approximately 48 to 50 FPS. It's like at best a good approximation. I wish I had time to do more benchmarking, but I did find an identical system in terms of specs for 3D Mark Firestrike, which will give you guys a better idea. So I will link that in the description below. There you have it. I don't know, I think it was pretty good for a second build. I'm a little upset that I didn't get to benchmark it, but the guy's coming to pick it up now. So I was right down to the wire on this one. Yeah, so super stressful. I'm really happy it's done, and I'm gonna be happy to get it in my hands. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm sorry it's kind of an incomplete video. I promise I'll make it up to you somehow. So anyways, adios. I'll catch you guys in the next video.